Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about the John Mayer boost sound. I think that the Keeley Katana boost is a huge part of the John Mayer sound that we all know and love and cannot stop trying to achieve on our own. So today we're going to be looking at this Katana clean boost. This is the just released dual FET Class A clean boost that we all know and love that has been re-released by Keeley. They've changed a couple things to make it a little more durable, but it is the original Katana. In every way that we want it to be, it does the John Mayer thing that we all know and love, and it's got the knob on the side, which is just so cool. That's the thing that you want. So we're going to be looking at this running into a couple drives and trying to achieve some of those Mayer sounds, and this is going to be less scientific. We're not going to be necessarily comparing a specific performance. There's an amazing video by Vertex Effects that does that. They have built a John Mayer replica pedal board and kind of dissected scientifically, you know, a specific sound from, you know, certain performances. But today we're just going to be listening to specifically the Katana and how it plays with some drive pedals and making some speculations on what to my ears it sounds like in what era and what specific tones for songs. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so here we are with the Katana Clean Boost, and let's just talk about, before we get into anything else, everything else that I'm using. So I've got my burnt Strat here, and it's got slightly hotter pickups, but they are scooped in the mid, so they're not as much as like Big Dippers. However, this is going to be the closest thing to that John Mayer Strat sound that I have. It does have a reverse angled bridge pickup, so it's more of that Jimmy vibe, but it's going to be the closest thing that I've got. And as far as the pedals go, we've got the TS-808 Tube Screamer and the Seriatone Centura for the Klon, and the Katana is running in front of it. We will, at the end of the video, reverse that order to where it's going to be Katana last and then Tube Screamer first. Okay, so this is how I typically run things. I run boost in front, and then I have lower gain and then higher gain. There's a lot of people that go the opposite way and have higher gain before instead of after their lower gain pedals. But we've got these three pedals, and then going straight into my Smart Bell, which is like a Dumble Overdrive Special style amp. I've got it in the rock setting and the bright switch on, and I've got none of the boost features on. It's got a FET boost, which is that's kind of stolen from the Steel String Singer, and that's similar to what this Katana does as far as when we get into the boosting settings using some JFETs. And so, but it's pretty dead clean. Okay, so it's pretty sterile, pretty dead clean. It's not too loud, but it is, it's pretty clean. So once we start kicking some of these pedals on, it's gonna jump in volume. So I might add a little bit of compression that's real subtle. I'm gonna try to do it to where it's not gonna change any of the tone, but just to level out some of the volume jumps that we're gonna get when we start kicking in these pedals on such a clean amp. So let's briefly just talk about what the Katana is. So this is the new kind of reissue of the original Katana. So I'm going to read straight everything from Robert Keeley's website. So this is the Katana Clean Boost in Throwback White. Okay, the Katana Clean Boost is back and better than ever, redesigned while going back to our roots. We listened to what our players wanted and went back to our roots. The new Katana uses the original JFETs that made the original so special. We used some of the same component values from the original Katana and updated the boost mode to offer a more robust, clear sound, giving more clarity to bass notes when engaged. We updated the build with modern construction techniques to make this Katana more dependable clean boost on the market, the most dependable clean boost on the market, including an updated aluminum control knob designed to be adjusted on the fly. Want a mirror image of your tone, only louder? Roll the volume knob forward with your foot and you'll be good to go. Need even more? The Katana Boost is also a fat, harmonically rich boost. Just pull out the volume knob and push the limits with overdriven tone. You can keep it on all the time to push your amp harder, or as an occasional boost to cut through the mix. The Katana circuit is Robert Keeley's first guitar effect design for Keeley Electronics. It was originally designed as part of the Time Machine Boost, but then became an independent product under the Keeley name after the release of the original Keeley compressor. So, what they're talking about there is it's going to be pretty close to those original Katanas. However, from what I understand and just kind of looking at the circuit a little bit, the boost function just has a little more headroom and is going to be a little more stable. And audibly, what that's going to end up as is the low end and the low mids are a little tighter than they were in the original. The original would kind of boost those equally, and this has got a little tighter on the low end from what I understand about it. Okay, so you've got two kinds of boost. So you've just got the knob here on the side. Okay, so this knob on the side can be rolled up and down like a normal potentiometer, and when it's pressed in like this, it's the clean boost. However, let me adjust this. When you pull it out, okay, it clicks out, that's going to engage the FET harmonics, and so it's not really an overdrive pedal. However, it is going to color the tone, and it's going to give a richer sound. So it's going to be more harmonically rich. It's almost going to feel a little more like an overdrive pedal, and then it boosts even more. And it even says on here, pull for plus 30 dB boost. That is a whole hell of a lot. Okay, 30 dBs is going to be hitting the front end of your amp, or in this case, these pedals really, really hard. Okay, and so that doesn't necessarily mean that your volume is going to go up 30 decibels. That actually, I guarantee that it won't, unless you had unless you're going into like just a crazy high headroom, like PA system or something. You're not going to get just a 30 dB up in volume. What that is going to do though, it's going to boost some volume for sure, but it's going to start hitting the front end of the amp and any pedals you have in between this Katana and the amp harder. All right, so here's my clean tone without anything on. That's in the 4th position, neck and middle. So let's go to the neck. Okay, go to the 2nd position. And then go to the bridge. Pretty sterile, okay? Very, very clean. So let's start. If you have the knob all the way down on the Katana, there's going to be no signal, okay? So let's first try to get somewhere close to unity gain just to hear what the clean boost side of the Katana, what it's doing to the EQ, okay? Go to the neck pickup. That's pretty much unity gain there. We'll hear it with it off. Okay, in my ears, it is adding some harmonic content to the mids. Okay, so it's very transparent. However, I prefer the sound of it on. So let me try to turn it down just a little bit just to make sure it's not perceived volume. I like it on. That's neither here nor there, but I really like this pedal on. There's just some harmonic content there that's just really fun to play, okay? I like the way that it feels to play it just with it on, okay? There's just the slight amount of coloration that's really awesome there, okay? So now let's bring this up to like straight up and down. So 12 o'clock, this is where I think this pedal sounds the best, okay? So we'll turn it back off, hear a reference clean tone. And then 12 o'clock. Okay, that's a boosted clean tone, and this I would say is probably about where John Mayer is using it for a lot of just the pushed clean sounds. I think he very rarely, if ever, plays with no pedals on, okay, as far as gain or boost. I think that the clean sound that we hear of John Mayer is the combination of his amps and a Katana, okay, and probably set in just the normal boost function without pulled out, without being the JFET sound. And this is where I think that it lies, okay? Okay, now let's hear this pushed, and then we will pull out the knob for the second stage of gain, the second JFET circuit there. It's a lot of gain there, okay? There is a lot of volume just hitting that front end of the amp. Let's bring it back down to 12 o'clock. And then we're going to pull it out. You can hear more gain there. It's hitting the front end of the amp harder. It's also going through another gain circuit in this pedal. And you can see right here, you know, like I said, it says 30 dB of gain. That's a whole lot, okay? Okay, it's close to that Good Love sound with it pulled out, okay? It's just got a little hair on the note. However, I think that the Good Love sound is a lot closer with a Klon. So before we go to the Klon, let's quickly boost this all the way up. Okay, that is a lot of gain. Now that's all the way up, pulled out. Let's leave it all the way up and then just push it back in. Okay, there's a lot more clarity when you push it back in. The last thing we're going to do before we start driving some other pedals here is we're going to bring this to unity with it pulled out and see. you can hear there's just a lot of rich harmonic content when you pull that knob out. And that's going to add to like the cascading gain sound, because you're not only hitting the front end preamp of your amp harder, but you're also going to be hitting everything else in the chain between the boost and the amp harder. And it's that harmonic content is going to add to the compression and the gain sounds when you start stacking it with other pedals. So we're going to push it back in to the clean boost mode, have it in noon, and let's take a look, or a listen rather, to the Klon, okay? Okay, that's a lot closer to the Good Love sound to me, but when you boost the Klon, okay, it sounds closer to Who Did You Think I Was to me when you boost with the clean boost mode a Klon with the Katana. Okay, now let's pull the knob out. Okay, and we're still boosting the Klon here. Okay, this is just a hair more of that overdrive on the top end. If we just compare, and then we pull it back out. Okay, it's just a little stronger. It's a little more in the front sounding. So now let's go back to our clean tone. Okay, and then here's the tube screamer. We're going to take the gain down a little bit. Okay, so he's known for using a TS10, and I would say that's almost even too much gain where it was. And then when we boost it with the Katana, it's just instantly, it's a little more gain, but because of the Strat, it retains clarity, and it sounds, in my opinion, instantly more like that Mayer sound. that's the heavier sound. And if we pull out, keeping it at noon, and we pull out that knob, okay, that's probably the even more gain really than Mayer uses, honestly. Because the Tube Screamer's got a lot more gain, and it's a lot more boosted in the low mids and a little flubbier in the bass than the Klon. And when we are hitting it with that extra harmonics, it almost gets muddy. So if we push this back in, that's a little bit closer to some of the early trio stuff where it is a little gainier, and maybe it's got a little more fizz on the top end. Okay, and that's probably likely because he's, then using Vibroverbs and Vibra Kings along with the 2-rock Dumble style amps. So let's go back to the Klon, and we're in the normal clean boost position on the Katana. Okay, and that's that. I mean, this is probably my favorite John Mayer gain. Okay, so it's somewhere between Good Love and Slow Dancing. And you can hear how much that Katana is contributing to that sound. That's a good sound, don't get me wrong. But when we add that Katana, and even boosting it a little more, you've got so much range there just using your volume knob on your guitar with the Katana and a Klon that I think you can cover almost, 90% of the Mayer sounds just. That's so close to it, and I think that really it's the Katana there. I think that you can use a handful of other drives. A blues driver is a perfect example, something you could use after the Katana to really cover that Mayer ground. Now let's do something real quick before we wrap this up, and let's put the Katana after the drives. And so we're going to go Tube Screamer, Klon, Katana, and see how that changes things. All right, so now we have this reversed order. So let's try the Tube Screamer, because the Tube Screamer was not quite doing it for me. Now maybe that's just a matter of changing some settings with this amp, and again, the 10-inch speakers here are a big factor that's very different. Typically with the Dumble, you want 12-inch speakers that are American voiced, high headroom, in an open back cab. This is all the opposite things. This is a closed back cab with British greenback speakers that are 10 inches, okay? So the low end and the low mids are gonna be very, I mean, really the whole sound is very different than your typical Dumble style cab. But for some reason, you know, the Tube Screamer wasn't quite doing it, and it could be that that was what it was. It's kind of fun to run things into the Katana. That's not the sound to me. I personally don't like really having a colored boost in any way after my drives. And I don't like running higher gain drives before lower gain. Just not my preference. I don't think that it stacks in the way that's pleasing to my ears. However, understand that that's what a lot of people do. But more importantly, this isn't that Mayer sound to me. It's the Katana coloring the sound, boosting the Klon, that's then boosting the front end of a Dumble style amp. That's the sound to me, and in that order, because we just reversed the order, and this is just very different. It's too pointed, I think, in my opinion. The mids are too kind of right in your face. There's too much of a nose on it. I feel like it needs to breathe a little bit, which having the Katana boost the Klon, in my opinion, that's just the Mayer sound right there. And again, with the Tube Screamer, that's that, you know, that heavier trio, early trio days thing. It's closer to that thing, but still different, you know, to my ears. But hopefully, so I think if you stick to a Katana boosting something like a Klon, so Wampler Tumnus, J-Rocket Archer, and something like a Tube Screamer, a TS9, obviously a TS10 or a TS808, but even a Blues Driver, that's another great one. If you have a Katana boosting a circuit like that, in my opinion, that's the Mayer sound. And I even think that having it in the closed position, so just the clean boost position straight up the middle, is the way to go. That is the right amount of push and color that I think gets you to that place that you've got all this dynamic range. It still breathes, but it's got that signature Mayer sound that we all just lust over uncontrollably. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video exploring John Mayer's Boost sound. If this is a kind of video that you like, then I encourage you to like and subscribe to this new channel. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please share this with other people who are gear nerds just like myself. And if you have suggestions on specific videos or specific pieces of gear that you would like to see demoed and maybe explained more, then drop that down in the comments and feel free to contact me. My email's in the description below. And keep playing, keep trying to pursue that John Mayer luxurious sound. It's $1 million sound and we've got a $1,000 budget. And so I know the struggle there, but you know, keep playing and keep exploring new sounds, and I'll see you next time. For now, I've been Colin. All right. Wow. I have not been recording the audio this entire time. Let's do that again. Shit. Shit. All right, so yeah, I think he